So this whole Signal Gate fiasco has many people asking, and even people on the right I've seen on social media are asking this question: should someone be fired because of the information that was leaked? Because there was a leak, period, because they were discussing this over Signal. For those who are not aware, Signal is a text messaging platform similar to WhatsApp. And yes, I have said this over and over again. These alternative text messaging platforms are not, they're not safe. And some people say that they are. I don't think they are. People have been known to be able to hack into those messaging platforms. So you think what you're saying on there is private and secure. It is not. I've said the same thing about Telegram. People also think that these Telegram groups are private. No, people have still been able to get in there as well. So Signal Gate is still an issue. And something happened over the weekend. Now it has been confirmed that Israel is angry at the Trump administration because of the Signal Gate leak. Now, you may be wondering, why would they care? Well, let's remember what they were discussing. Shout out to Caitlin Johnstone for this one. She was talking to Tulsi Gabbard. I'll show you in just a second. This is one of the chats from Signal Gate. Mike Waltz and TG, Tulsi Gabbard. Mike Waltz, typing too fast. The first target, their top missile guy. We had positive ID of him walking into his girlfriend's building, and now it's collapsed. It's now collapsed. Tulsi Gabbard says, great work and effects. So to make a long story short here, one target that they were seeking walks into a building, and they were willing to collapse an entire building of people to get that one target. They were willing to take out all of those civilians to get that one target. So yes, a lot of civilians in Yemen have been killed, including children. So this is all over again, right? So that's some of the information that was leaked as a part of Signal Gate, that the U.S. government is brutal as hell, that the U.S. government is willing to kill all these civilians just to get one target. Didn't Julian Assange reveal this years ago? Didn't Julian Assange explain to you that the goal is not necessarily to win a war, but to keep a continuous war and to launder money, thus supporting the military industrial complex, thus supporting Israel and what Israel wants to happen here? Julian Assange warned you that the U.S. government was killing civilians. That's what was revealed in the videos that he showed. That's why they locked him up, because they didn't want that to get out. The U.S. government was committing war crimes. This is a war crime. You can't take out a whole building of civilians to get one person. And here's the Signal Gate message confirming that. Now, Caitlin Johnstone, who was she referring to? She was referring to Tulsi Gabbard here. This statement that Tulsi Gabbard made in all her craziness. President Trump is the president of peace. He ended bloodshed across the world and will deliver lasting peace in the Middle East. So that's who Caitlin Johnstone is responding to. And she's correct, because what Tulsi Gabbard is saying there is absolutely a lie. How are you the person of peace and you're killing all these damn people? Now, I tried to warn people about this. I tried to tell people that both Kamala and Trump were going to be a part of this war machine. And people are like, no, Trump's going to be the peace guy, pro-peace, as if all of those things that happened under his first presidency are just erased from everyone's memories, as if he didn't take out Soleimani, as if he didn't bomb Syria. All of a sudden, people forgot. And now you see this is happening. But to the point, Israel is now angry. Israeli officials angered by Signal leak on Yemen intel involving Trump official report here. So does everybody see what's coming out now? It's all coming out, ladies and gentlemen. I told you we would get more information soon. I was going to make it bigger, but sorry, guys. I think that's as large as it goes here. Israeli officials are angry over a Signal chat leak that exposed sensitive intelligence Israel shared with the U.S. from a human source in Yemen, CBS News reported on Friday. On Tuesday, CBS News released unclassified internal documents from a National Security Council bulletin highlighting weaknesses in using the Signal app despite its encryption. The bulletin had been broadly circulated to NSC staff a month before the U.S. National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, set up the Signal chat group. So, once again, he was warned before he even set up the Signal chat group. This is why I was trying to tell people they are not going to be able to argue their way out of this one. And I am even seeing conservatives speak out on social media asking for either the firing of Mike Waltz or the firing of Pete Hegseth. So this is not just liberals that are complaining about this. Let's go on. The leak of the Signal chat messages angered Israeli officials. This is according to anonymous sources, as it compromised a human intelligence source they had shared with the U.S. for targeting, despite the airstrike effectiveness remaining intact. According to a senior American intelligence official and a source familiar with Israel's frustration, despite the publication's caution in releasing the information, it compromised a human source who had provided intelligence for Israel, who then shared it with the U.S. for targeting. Let me break this down for people, okay? Long story short, this official, who was, I guess, private, this official that was representing Israel shared information with the Trump administration that the target that they were seeking was in this building. Israel's really upset because what this shows is that Israel was telling the U.S. government, take them out. I don't care if there are civilians in that building. Take the building down. Once again, showing you who is really in charge. It's not Tulsi Gabbard. It's not Mike Waltz. It's Israel. That's why they're angry, because this information is now leaked. That's a war crime. Let's continue. Earlier this month, there was a plan to use U.S. military planes and drones to strike targets in Yemen. These operations were supposed to protect shipping routes and target Houthi terrorists who were a threat to Israel. Israel provided information to help target the Iranian-backed Houthis, but the chat set up by Waltz was mistakenly made public, compromising the information. Waltz accidentally added the Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, to the group chat. Now, for those who didn't see my initial coverage of Signal Gate, Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic, isn't just a journalist. Jeffrey Goldberg was a prison guard in Israel, and he volunteered to serve with the IDF. So Jeffrey Goldberg, obviously in his best, is going to try to do what he can to protect Israel. So the information that he leaked, that was the information that he leaked. He was able to choose what he was going to present. So if it's something that's damning towards Israel, probably not going to present that. But you need to know who he really is. So it goes on here. This is crazy stuff, man. This country is crazy. The conversations between high-ranking U.S. officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and members of National Security Council. They discussed specific military actions, including airstrikes using planes and drones, which I showed you last time on the show. U.S. intelligence officials, including the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and CIA Director John Ratcliffe, tested that no classified information was shared in the chat. However, they acknowledged that the information was still sensitive. Still, experts say that even unclassified information like this should not be shared through unsecured methods like the Signal app. And it goes on to talk about the hearing that happened. We played that last time on the show. So Israel is really pissed because it implicates Israel. It shows everybody Israel told the U.S. government to kill all these civilians to get one person. That's what they've been doing. This is what we were telling you. This is what I told you was happening under Biden and Kamala. This is what I told you would still happen, also happen under the Trump administration, even though people wanted to believe otherwise. Who funds you runs you. So if you're taking money from AIPAC and other Zionist lobbyist groups, what do you expect these politicians to do? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to serve Israel. But now Israel's angry. And there's more. Because now apparently Pete Hegseth's wife may have been a part of one of these meetings. Again, this is not secure. Listen to this.
Arriving in Japan for a World War II memorial service today, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had no comment about the latest controversy he's facing.
Mr. Secretary, does your wife attend meetings with sensitive info? Mr. Secretary, does your wife have a security clearance?
Hegseth had already been facing scrutiny over the messages he sent in the Signal group chat about the U.S. strike on Houthi rebels that inadvertently included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. Now questions for the Pentagon leader are growing over a report in the Wall Street Journal that Hegseth brought his wife to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed, according to multiple people who were present or had knowledge of the discussions. Back in early March, cameras captured Jennifer Hegseth entering the room of a bilateral meeting with the United Kingdom's Secretary of Defense.
That's not secure. That's not secure. Like, I don't know what to tell people, but that is not okay. That's not okay. And I can tell you this right now, if that would have been happening under the Biden administration, conservatives will call it out. It's happening under the Trump administration. Liberals are calling it out, but everyone should be calling it out. Now, some conservatives are saying that Pete Hegseth needs to be fired. Some conservatives are saying that Mike Waltz needs to be fired. But the reality is right and wrong is wrong. And as I was telling you, nothing is permanent. These positions aren't permanent. Don't forget during Donald Trump's first administration, don't forget he fired some of the people that he hired. So it's not like he can't replace these people. It's not like he can't get rid of Pete. He can't get rid of Mike Waltz and replace them with other people. And then you go back to the hearings to confirm Hegseth and Gabbard, and there were certain politicians that had reservations about them. And then Signalgate is leaked here. And that only confirms the reservations that they had about them. This is private information. This is not secure. You can't just bring your wife up in here. Let's go on. What a mess.
The Pentagon released a photo showing her seated in the room. That meeting coming just a day after the United States said it was ending intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon have responded to requests for comment about why Jennifer Hegseth may have attended sensitive meetings or what her level of security clearance is. Jose?
Yamiche Alcindor in West Palm Beach, Florida. Thank you. Let's bring in the moderator of NBC's Meet the Press, Kristen Welker. Kristen, you just spoke to President Trump about the controversy surrounding Waltz and Hegseth's group chat on Signal. What did he tell you?
Jose, in a phone interview that lasted just over 10 minutes, President Trump was defiant in defending Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who played key roles in that Signal text chain in which attack plans were discussed. The president calling the matter fake news and arguing the strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen were successful. Now, notably, Mr. Trump said he had read the group text exchange. I pressed the president about reports that he'd been advised to fire Mike Waltz. He responded, "I don't fire people because of fake news and because of witch hunts." Jose?
And Kristen, you also asked the president about tariffs, those already in place and those about to take effect. What were your key takeaways?
Jose, I asked President Trump if the 25% tariffs he just announced on cars and auto parts are permanent. His response was absolutely they're permanent. And I pressed him on reports he urged auto CEOs not to raise prices. The president telling me, quote, "No, I never said that. I couldn't care less if they raise prices because people are going to start buying American-made cars." And Jose, I asked the president about his desire to annex Greenland. Mr. Trump saying there's a good possibility it could be done without military force, but added, "I don't take anything off the table."
This is insane. And to go along with all of this, I just saw this. I'll have to cover this in a separate clip. Trump has also said that he hopes to have an agreement with Iran, but if he doesn't rule out bombing Iran. This is insane. And as I said before, all these people are like, oh, this person's pro-peace, this person's pro that. None of these people are pro-peace when they're aligned with AIPAC. That means they're going to do the bidding for Israel. They're going to do what Israel wants. That's what they pay you for. That's what Miriam Adelson's money is for. They're not going to give you money to go against them. They give you money to go along with them. That's how it works. That's why you have to get corporate money out of electoral politics. So nothing is permanent. Any of these people can be replaced. Pete Hegseth can be replaced. Mike Waltz can be replaced. Tulsi Gabbard can also be replaced. But people have to honestly sit here and admit, maybe some of these people aren't who you thought they were. And maybe some of us that tried to warn you, maybe next time you'll listen. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.